Bangladesh. In this book from 1978, there are some things said about it, and it is mostly focusing on the sufferings of the people which are living there during the 1970s. And the book explains the disadvantages, geological, geographical, political, cultural, historical, and climatological, which are the reasons why the people are suffering there. Now, the book says then, for example, that there can be cyclones. And there was, for example, in the year 1970, a cyclone, so a very big storm, through which 500,000 people died. Or there is the monsoon in the summer months, and if that fails, there's drought. And there are the rivers Ganges and Brahmaputra, and the whole country is very flat, just 30 meters high, just by Chittagong, where it is 300 meters high. So it's just very low, and there can be a lot of flooding, and sometimes it is not possible to distinguish between flooded area and lakes and rivers and so on. And then there is written that there's also now coal, or just poor quality coal, and now larger mineral deposits. So industrialization based on extracting minerals isn't working. And then the book says that the region Bengal, it's not explained what now exactly is Bengal, so I don't know exactly, but the region Bengal was known for muslin and silk. But when during the British rule of India, and partially of Bengal obviously, I guess, then the center of Bengal was moved to the western part of Bengal around Calcutta, with the main port. And now the jute, which is something, was grown in eastern Pakistan, or is still, and then in the mills in western Pakistan around Calcutta, processed, and then from there with the main ports probably shipped on. And now when India was partitioned in 1947, then the western part of Bengal seems to, the book isn't saying it, seems to have stayed in India. So there was, for example, Fazlul Haq in 1947, and he, for example, advocated for a separate Muslim state. 80% of the population in the 1970s of Bangladesh are Muslim. And now India was then partitioned in 1947, and there was then West Pakistan and East Pakistan, and they were one country. So India and then West Pakistan and East Pakistan, today's Bangladesh. And for 25 years that was so. But here the book says that many people of East Pakistan were thinking that the jute when sold in Western Pakistan, the revenues of it were used to build up the industries of Western Pakistan and not of Eastern Pakistan. Many people in Eastern Pakistan felt disadvantaged through Western Pakistan, that's the book saying. And so it was when in 1970 the big cyclone, and then there was an election, and then the people voted in Sheikh Mujibur, and he wanted then, and he advocated for an autonomous Bangladesh or East Pakistan. But it was not able to reach, he was not able to reach an agreement with Mr. Bhutto, a successful politician of Western Pakistan. And then there was a bloody repression, as the books say, of the people. Hundreds were killed, as the books say, and then 9 million people fled to India, where they were housed by India, and guerrillas were trained by India. And the book says that then Pakistanis attacked a surprise attack on an Indian airfield. And then the book says that following that, India entered into eastern Pakistan, and within 13 days overthrew, together with the guerrillas, the western Pakistani rule in East Pakistan. And then in December 1971, Bangladesh as an independent state was with the capital Dhaka. And that is according to the Reader's Digest Library of Modern Knowledge, Book 3, Part 22, Regions of the Earth, written by Hugh Clayton, John Cole, Michael Frenchman, and D.H. Sinclair, on the pages 1130 and 1131, all written in 1978. The positions and views expressed are the ones of the source and don't necessarily align with my own or with the ones of the entity spoken of. Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn international studies, today Bangladesh, and after we've done it, we're going to do extensor carpal analysis strength training. And if you participate in the extensor carpal analysis strength training, then it's very honest. And we were in the last parts a bit confused with Bengal, East Bengal, West Bengal, Pakistan, West Pakistan, East Pakistan, and we found out that we at least confused West Bengal and West Pakistan. So we're going to read now the entry to the history entry to Pakistan. All of the book is written in the 1970s, so all information are from the 1970s. History to Pakistan. Throughout history, the areas now known as the Northwest Frontier and Punjab formed a route across northern India, trod by successive traders and conquerors, Aryans, Persians, Greeks, Pathans, Mughals, and Arabs. The earliest civilization in the area dates back to 2500 before Christ. Excavations at Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro have revealed advanced cities laid out on a grid pattern with organized sewage and drainage systems. In the 6th century before Christ, the Indus Valley was part of the Persian Empire, and 2 centuries later the armies of Alexander the Great passed through it. The first Muslim conquerors were the Arabs, who marched into Sindh in the 8th century after Domini. But it was not until the invasion of the Turks in the 11th and 12th centuries that Islam became firmly established in North India at Delhi. In 1398, the Delhi Sultanate was broken up by the Tatar invader Timur the Lame, Tamerlane, who sacked the city. A series of small Muslim kingdoms followed until 1526, when Babur, a descendant of Timur and Genghis Khan, overthrew the Sultan and founded the Mughal Empire. Babur's grandson, the Emperor Akbar, extended his rule over northern India and well into the southern peninsula. By the beginning of the 18th century, the Mughal Empire covered most of the Indian subcontinent, but internal revolt in the early part of the century so weakened the empire that it fell to the Marathas, Hindu warriors. During the 19th century, the British East India Company had become the dominant power in the area, and the last Mughal emperor was deposed in 1859. In 1905, the British partitioned Bengal, and resentment at this caused a great upsurge of Hindu nationalism. Now, where is Bengal? Bengal must be the part which is half the eastern part Bangladesh and the other part India today. That was on the map of India to see. 1255. Hier bei India, wer ist hier written, wer ist Bangladesh written, and where is West Bengal written? So it makes sense that that is East Bengal and that West Bengal. So in 1905, when India was partitioned, there a split was made between West Bengal and East Bengal. As far as I understand. In 1905, the British partitioned Bengal, and resentment at this caused a great upsurge of Hindu nationalism. As a result, the British decided to allow all Indians a share in government. But the Muslims feared Hindu domination and demanded more safeguards in the form of distinct Muslim constituencies. In 1906, they founded the All India Muslim League. Let's take one look. Have you maybe here? That's probably where India really. So the Indians became a part, so the people living in India, they became part of a government which was ruled by the British. But there was feared, or maybe there was, a domination of Hindu people with Hindu religion. And the people with the religion of Islam feared then that there was a too great domination through them. And to have safeguards, they then wanted own just Muslim constituencies. In 1906, they founded then, or some people then founded the All India Muslim League. All India Muslim League. In 1930, the poet Muhammad Iqbal suggested a separate Muslim homeland should be created in northwest India. Okay, what am I saying here? I think that the most people of India, maybe we should take a look. I would now assume that most people already in the year 1905 had in India, or the British India, not the religion of Hinduism. Not the religion of Islam, had the religion of Hinduism. So I assume now, that most people in the year 1905-6, at the beginning of the 20th century, had in the British India the religion of Hinduism. And there were now some person, for example, Muhammad Iqbal, who suggested a separate country where Muslim people were living in the northwest. And 3 years later, a name was coined for this land called Pakistan, an Urdu word meaning land of the pure. Okay, and that land should have the name Pakistan, or Pakistan. Okay, there were Muslims living in India, and Britain was granting the people in India to have also a share in the government, but there were more Hindus than Muslims, and there were the Muslims fearing that they would be dominated by the Hindu population, and so there were people, they founded the All India Muslim League, and some people demanded distinct Muslim constituencies, and in 1930 Muhammad Iqbal suggested to have a separate homeland in northwest India with the name Pakistan, meaning in the language Urdu, land of the pure. In 1946, Britain promised India independence if the Hindu Congress Party and the Muslim League under Muhammad Ali Jinnah could resolve the differences. Okay, 1946, shortly after the Second World War, 1946, Britain was saying if the Hindu Congress Party and the Muslim League could resolve the differences, that India as a whole would become independent. Jinnah held out, that is the leader of the Muslim League. Jinnah held out for the creation of Pakistan. I don't know what held out means. Was he waiting for it, or was he pressuring on it? Held out for it. And in 1947, Britain agreed to the formation of separate Hindu and Islamic states. Okay, 1946, Britain was saying, if the Hindu and Muslim party agreeing, India becomes independent. 1947, Britain was saying that one part becomes India and the other part Pakistan. India and Pakistan respectively. On August 14th that year, Pakistan became an independent member of a Commonwealth. Okay, 1947 it became India and Pakistan. The new state immediately found itself beset by serious troubles. These were mainly caused by the fact that East Pakistan in the Ganges Basin and West Pakistan in the Indus Basin were separated by more than 1,600 kilometers. Why was it separated? They never said anything to that. We are reading that for Bangladesh, so that is East Pakistan. We're trying to understand why it is separated. That's the whole point why we're reading that here. We are going to do Pakistan later. But, okay. So, okay. And also by linguistic and racial differences. Millions of Hindus and Muslims found themselves in the wrong country. Race riots broke out and at least 600,000 people lost their lives, and 14 million others were uprooted and had to settle in new areas. It's a bit short, I don't know what's going on. Kashmir, on the border between Pakistan and India, was never cause of strife. The state had a predominantly Muslim population but a Hindu ruler who chose to join India. Late in 1947, fighting broke out there between Indian and Pakistani armies. The UN negotiated a ceasefire line in 1949, but the dispute over possession continued. Following the death of the first Governor-General Jinnah in 1948 and the assassination of his successor, Liaquat Ali Khan in 1951, political chaos ensued. East Pakistan complained that the central government based in the western region was discriminating against it. Constitutional changes in 1956, which made Pakistan an Islamic republic, failed to improve the situation, and in late 1958 the President Iskandar Mirza proclaimed martial law. After only 3 weeks, Mirza was overthrown by the army and General Ayub Khan became president. The main question is why is there East Pakistan and West Pakistan? But I don't think we're going to get an answer. Let's read on. In 1965, a war broke out between Pakistan and India over Kashmir. A peace agreement was signed the following year, by which both countries simply returned to the position they had held before the war. Pakistan now controls, so in the 1970s. The book is written in the 1970s. Pakistan now controls just under 1/3 of Kashmir in the north and west. In 1969, President Ayub Khan was succeeded by General Yahya Khan, who reintroduced democratic elections the following year. In East Pakistan, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his Awami League, who were set on independence, gained an overwhelming majority. In 1971, after military intervention by West Pakistan, the East proclaimed itself an independent republic under the name of Bangladesh. West Pakistani troops tried to crush the rebellion, but unsuccessfully. India, unable to cope with more than 6 million refugees streaming into her territory, finally intervened. After bitter fighting, the Pakistani army in the east surrendered. And in the west, Yahya Khan was replaced by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. When Britain recognized Bangladesh, Pakistan left the Commonwealth. Bhutto faced tremendous problems. That was somebody said, but I don't remember who Bhutto was. Okay, Bhutto was with a city. Bhutto faced tremendous problems as leader or person of a new reduced Pakistan. For one thing, the country was much poorer because it had lost the revenue produced by the jute, cotton and other industries of the eastern region. In an attempt to boost the economy, Bhutto began a nationalization program. In 1973, Bhutto introduced a federal parliamentary system. He renounced the presidency in favor of Fazal Ilahi Chaudhry, but retained effective control of affairs as prime minister. The first general elections since 1970 were held in March 1977, resulting in an overwhelming victory for Bhutto's ruling People's Party, but there were allegations of vote rigging by the opposition. This caused widespread unrest, and in July 1977 there was a military takeover of government led by General Mohammed Zia al-Haq. And there the book started in 1977-78. So there the book ends. If you were here for international studies, you can go directly to the expert of international studies. We're going to go back and read what is written to Bangladesh. At least we now know that East Bengal and West Bengal are on the west side of India. And it is when East Pakistan and West Pakistan, or Pakistan and Bangladesh. So we now know that not West Bengal is not Pakistan. If you were here for international studies, you can go directly to the next part of international studies. If you stay here and participate in the extended kappa and strength training, we sit at your own. Squat and stable stand, arms up, hands on to fists. Bring them down. We have 3 rules. The first one is, if there's pain, stop immediately. The second one is go only as far as it goes with a little bit of effort. Hands are getting down. And the second one is go only as far as possible. And the third one is don't overdo it. We just want to strength, not to exhaust. And you can use a soccer t-shirt or tennis book. Something. Press onto it and bring it on. A soccer t-shirt or a towel. Up again. Down. Up. Change. Press. Down. Up. Down. Up. Change. Press and over. In. Again. And with your arm again. Press. Over. And press and down and up. And with your hand, fold up, down and up. And just press in neutral position. And also with your hand. And that was the extensor kappa now strength training. I thank you very much, and until next time.